My ex left me the majority of his estate, around $700,000. His parents demand that I leave it to his wife and child. Am I the asshole? Oh, I can't wait to dive into this story. Hi guys, this is Little Miss Reddit, and welcome to my channel, where we dive into interesting Reddit stories, read some comments, and then wait for your comments. Come on, gang, let's dive into today's story. My ex and I were together for almost 20 years. We never got married because it never felt necessary, and we were child-free. I had problems with BC, so he chose vasectomy. I found out that he cheated on me 3 years ago, and I left him. He got with his AP. 6 months later, I heard that they were married. I found out that I was pregnant with my current boyfriend a year into dating, and even though we still weren't there in the relationship, we thought that we could make it happen, and sure enough, we are very happy, and we love our little family very much. My ex kept texting me on occasions like birthdays and holidays. I never answered. But when he heard about my daughter, he sent me a lengthy and hurtful text about me cheating on him, and he never texted me again. Again, I never answered. A few months later, my ex ended his life. This was about 4 months ago. His wife is apparently giving birth any time now. I was surprised. I was contacted by a solicitor to tell me that I have inherited my ex's estate. He'd left everything to me besides some to his parents' pension and his nephew. I got a letter from him apologizing for what he did and saying that he loved me and wished me and my family happiness, and he wanted to help with that. Now his wife and parents are very angry and demand that I leave them everything. I don't know. Would I be the asshole if I kept it because that is what I want, actually, and what he wanted? Fractured Sola says, actually, I think you are the asshole. If you had any integrity, you would ignore the money and the will like you ignored his calls and texts. You should 100% be sued over it, and I won't pretend to know how the case will go, but I really do hope you lose. Your ex's family isn't going to let $700,000 slip by. Let the grieving family without a father and husband have the money. That first commenter has some convictions over this topic. Let's see what everyone else is saying. The Savage Beast 83 says, you're the asshole. Not only do you get to have a living husband and a happy family while the other woman is going through a traumatic time and birthing a fatherless child, now you get the money too? Particular Tribe 5584 says, expect a legal fight. His wife and child are entitled to something, and they will argue that he was of unsound mind. I mean, come on. He made a will and a note leaving everything to his ex, and then committed suicide? Clearly, the man had some serious issues in the moment. Don't spend it. Wait and see which way this one falls. It's legally yours today, but maybe not tomorrow. Aggressive Takeo says the only thing that I'd consider that I haven't seen brought up is what you think your ex's intentions were. Did he mean to leave you everything, or did he just not update his will after you broke up? Either way, the money is yours. But if he was the kind of guy where he could have just not thought about updating his will, it may be a nice gesture to give some of the money to his family. But like $50,000, not all of it. If you were together for 20 years, the bulk of that money would have been earned and saved while you were together. If you had been married and gotten a divorce, a big chunk would have likely gone to you 3 years ago. That's an interesting take on this subject. Lady Morgana says, you must have missed her saying he wrote her a letter with inheritance apologizing and explaining he wanted her to have it. So it was a purposeful, recent decision. Okay. Aggressive Takeo replies to that. I did totally miss that it was linked. I was reading it as an apology letter in the mail, separate from the suicide and inheritance. Oh, okay. It's nice to have the details. The brand MJ says, yes, you are. Give some to the child. Put it in a trust so the current wife can't take it. I think that would be reasonable and fair. Then the grandparents can't complain if their grandchild will be taken care of financially due to the trust fund. So think of the child and not the wife. Interesting Froyo says, to be honest, they could totally argue that he wasn't in his right mind when he did this, and I hope they take every penny away from you before you are able to spend it. You have a husband. You have a life. Don't let your ex do to his family what he did to you in his first one. He was a jerk down to the last breath, but you don't have to condone that. Everyone seems to have been pretty hard on this lady. But Reboot Saurus says, what's the odds of a man who's had a vasectomy fathering a child? Very low. How convenient he's not here to challenge the paternity. I wonder if you asked for a DNA test, would she agree? He left the money to you. He wrote you a letter, so he knew what he was doing. Keep the money. You're not the asshole. And Celtic Muse Books, I think, thinks the same way. They're saying, so, he had a vasectomy, but his current girlfriend is pregnant. I suspect he did the math and decided not to leave anything to his cheating girlfriend or wife, whatever she is. I would get the solicitor to go through the specifics of how the will was written and, on the off chance the child is your ex's child, the legality of excluding the child from the will. Going forward, when they attempt to contact you, tell them all contact will need to go through your attorney. Alternately, you could demand a DNA test to determine paternity of her child. And if it is, in fact, your ex's child, which vasectomies do have a small failure rate, put some money into a trust that can't be touched until the child is older. Not the asshole. There are definitely two very strong, differing opinions on this one. An equal amount of people say you are the asshole as much as people are saying she's not the asshole. So what do you think? Where do you stand on this situation? If you were her, would you keep the money? Would you give it all back and ignore that it even happened? Or would you set up a trust fund for that child of her ex? Let us know in the comments. Is she the asshole or isn't she? I can't wait to hear your opinions. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification icon. Until next time, my friends, let's keep the conversation rolling.